Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Quark, a Minecraft mod by Vazkey. Today's module is going to be covering tweaks, which, as the name states, will be tweaking a few things. First up, we have armed armor stands. As you see here, the armor stands actually have arms when you put them in the world, instead of it just being the torso and legs. This next section is regarding automatic recipe unlocking. Those that are familiar with the little icons in the top will be very familiar with how repetitive and annoying that can be, especially when you're already familiar with Minecraft and you don't need to have your recipes unlock as you go. You'd like to have access to them straight away. Well, no fear. Now, when you load up a new world or update to an existing one, all of your recipes, as you see, will be unlocked at the top of the screen. Very simple, straightforward, and very convenient. Now I can craft all the things that I want, even if I don't have, the progression unlocked just yet. And the next thing is going to be axe leaf harvesting. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with how that can be very annoying, and you have to make some shears just to get the items. But instead, this will just allow you to break the leaves simpler and still get the same drops as if it was with a hand, therefore allowing you to use an axe to just clear away the shrubbery of the tree itself and get the usual drops that you would, like an oak sapling. Let's close that. Oak saplings or apples in this case, and therefore, still get your stuff that you need. Next, we have better stone tool crafting. This one will allow you to craft all your normal tools with any of your basic stone types. As an example, I've got this here. You can use granite, andesite, cobblestone, diorite, and of course smoothstone, all of which will allow you to make your usual stone tools and weapons as needed. The next one I will cover in a moment because I fear that it may end up destroying the part after that. So let's walk around the ladder for the moment and take a look at these little guys here. We've got some zombies. Well, if I were to break this top here and let some sunlight in above, you'll notice that the zombies start taking damage from sunlight. This is not a standard vanilla feature, and now Quark fixes that issue. While they burn up, we're going to take a look at the next part, which is going to be better shulker boxes. They are now blast resistant. So if I take this block of redstone, place it here, and back off, you can then see that yes, it is very resilient indeed. And no, that does not mean you can make walls out of shulker boxes to use to trap the wither boss. Instead, you'll have to, because these basically become as resistant as obsidian. So he'll still break his way through it. This next bit isn't quite as elegant. It's a little bit more simple, and that's what a lot of Quark stuff is. That involves torches, and how one torch can be burnt to make 2 items, or can be used to burn 2 items rather. So you can now burn torches if you so desire. Perhaps you have a large excess by accident. This will allow you to at least make use of those, as if they still have a little bit of the coal used to make them left. There we go, 2 pieces. Nice. All right, so this next bit is dealing with chickens. So let's grab some shears here, and I can actually shear a chicken with and get the feathers. So there we go. Yeah, now I do have a cart down below that's gathering these items, but yeah, when you shear a chicken, you'll get its feathers. But yeah. Now that being said, the chickens were already dropping feathers. Now, I did not shear that many. There was already a bunch in that area. So therefore, over time, they will shed feathers as well as eggs. So now you can just place a chicken over top of a hopper in a small space, and it should slowly be giving you the materials that you need. Next up, we have a very unbalanced thing, and that is clay related. I'm going to grab some of this clay here. As you already know, you can dig up clay and get yourself a whole bunch of those clay balls, and therefore you can use them to make the clay in your own inventory or something like so. And therefore, there we go. I now have 3 things of clay. Oh no, I've got a recipe that requires a single ball. Well, now I have to place it down again, and then I've got to break them all over again. Well, instead, what you can do is you can actually uncraft them now. It's reversible recipe, this way and that way. So you can now stack them as you'd like. This next bit actually kind of removes a bit of a cheaty nature. Many people have known that for a long time, in JEI or in the in here, if you do a search items, the arrows on here, compass, would actually spin. If you look here, like this Nature's Tool compass was moving around. It does not any further. This has actually been fixed in this tweaks section so that it now no longer will move around unless you actually have one in your inventory. Further to that, though, it has been enhanced, so therefore it's a little bit more useful elsewhere. If you're in the End or in the Nether, it will point back to the portals that you came in through, allowing you a measure of, well, finding your way around and back to where you need to get out, assuming that you had the compass with you when you started with. Now, of course, lots of config options on that. You can turn those things on and off as you would like. All right, next up we have double door opening. That's right, just clicking on one door, you'll open 2. It's really nice, but it doesn't work on angles. As you can see here, I have a single block here in the middle. I can place down this item in the middle. It will only open 1 at a time, but it does work when they are connected in this manner. Now, of course, if you place the doors so that the handles are, both on the same side instead of facing in the middle, like these ones are, then it will not function in that way. So they will need to be placed properly for that to actually do the thing that you need it to. And here we have dyeing wool. Yes, it doesn't sound like much, but actually I found this to be quite wonderful. You can take any kind of wool and you can actually combine it together to make one type of wool. So in this case, I've got a whole bunch of different colors and turn them all into yellow with this dandelion yellow dye. Now, you can also do the same thing with the quilted wool variants that Quark adds, but if you mix one of those or more in there, it will then invalidate the recipe. It has to be all quilted wool or all standard wool. Next, we have Dragon's Breath improvement. Not a very big one. It's just something simple. If you're trying to automate something with a brewing stand, typically if you put a Dragon's Breath bottle in here, it would leave the bottle behind, which is really, really annoying. In this case, the bottle will actually be removed. It will finish as it's intended so that you can further automate your brewing stands as you would with other potion setups. This next setup is, something that people were familiar with for some time, but were not aware that it has been changed. And that is how Endermen treat you when they're coming after you, basically. Previously, in older versions of Quark, he would basically come at you and teleport you, the player, out of the 2-block area that you're under. In this case, they don't do that anymore. They kind of just try and dig you out. Oh boy. So yeah, they'll start dismantling your area in hopes of trying to get to you. And coordinate with each other in order to do so. So yeah, something that you need to be very aware of is that they may dismantle your base if you anger them and try and hide under the anti-cheese method, like so. This next bit highlights how you can recover glass. Previously, when you would break glass, it would just disappear. Now you have a chance of getting a few glass shards. You have a possibility of getting anywhere from like maybe 2 to 4 pieces, and therefore allowing you at least to be able to recover some of your losses. And this little tweak that we have here is actually probably my favorite new addition, and that is that hoes will actually break a large area of grass. Any of the hoes except for the diamond one will break a 3x3 area just by clicking on the grass itself, and it will pretty much break it. So it's really nice for clearing areas now. The hoe has a really good use besides just the original land tilling. But if you go with something like a diamond hoe, you can break a 5x5 area, which actually means that your bling hoe is actually well worth it at this point. All right, so this next bit is difficult to demonstrate without multiple players on a server. Instead, I will just tell you about it, and that's pretty much when you go to sleep, or if you are not moving for a total of 2 minutes. You should get a message in the bottom corner that would read that you are AFK, And then once you start moving again, it would then say that you are no longer AFK. What this means is, obviously, away from keyboard, but alternately, if on a server, if you are AFK, you do not count against people trying to sleep at night on the server. On top of that, in the tweaks config under improved sleeping, you can further modify that to allow a lower percentage of people to be required to be sleeping. So therefore, if there are 2 people that are not AFK, one of which, if you had this at 50%, would be able to rotate it to daytime. And as you see, you can also change the time you're away as well. Just about any of the tweaks or any other items can be tweaked very heavily with the config options available to you. Now here's another option that I really like, and that is Jump Boost. Those of you that may be familiar with me, you know that I love Step Assist and I hate Auto Jump. Well, if you have any kind of potion ability that gives you at least Jump Boost 2, you automatically get an effect of, Step Assist. Not Auto Jump, Step Assist. So I can just automatically walk up these stairs easily, just as if they were a flat surface to me. Really, really nice. This next bit is actually a little bit more of immersion, roleplay, if you will. If you left click with an open hand on a door, instead of trying to break it right away, your first touch on the door will be a knock. Therefore, you can kind of knock and let people know that you're there, rather than just opening the door and making a loud noise or trying to alert them of your presence. You can, hello, anybody home? And then they can know that you're there, whether or not you have voice chat available. Now this next bit kind of was covered in a previous one, kind of not, and that is ladders. There's a couple different things to this. The first one is the ability to drop a ladder down. As before, I showed you the iron ladders. Well, it doesn't just work with iron ladders, it also works with wooden ones. Now, of course, these ones aren't able to just hover over top of anything, but you can just keep on clicking to lower down ladders. You do have to have the appropriate amount in your inventory, and then you're good to go. Now, the other option is ladder sliding. If you are on a ladder, let's get on here. You can see that I can hold shift. Obviously, I can therefore pause myself and have a look around. If I were to look over here and just kind of look at a regular rate, you'll see I'll drop slowly. If I look down, I go down much quicker than I would if I look normally. This is ladder sliding, and it allows you to just rapidly descend a ladder instead of, falling to your death or anything like that. And this is, wait a minute, something's a little bit messed up here. Aha, I see the culprit. There seems to be a small rabbit friend in here. That was unexpected, but nonetheless, you can now just take an item that would go into a minecart, and instead of having to pick it up, craft it, and put it back down, you can therefore just right-click with the item and create that item, which is really, really nice. For instance, let's put some TNT in this cart. This one I already clicked with the chest and so on. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to put anything in this one because it's got a little friend in there. I'm just going to leave you to sit there and enjoy your cart ride. But let's move on to the next one. This one is proper stair math. Previously, a recipe of 6 of whatever the ingredients are to make some stairs would net you 4 stairs, where instead it has been properly calculated to correctly give out the appropriate amount, in this case 8. So therefore, recipe, there you go, 6 blocks, gets you 8 stairs, nice. And then we move on to quick armor swapping. I am currently wearing an Elytra, and I now have a shield in my hand. If I shift right-click on the armor stand, I will quickly switch whatever armor set it currently has. If I put on a diamond chestplate and do this again, there we go, it now has diamond chestplate, and I have my Elytra and shield back on. Now, instead of the armor here, let's talk about horses and how they tend to, die if you have a bow and arrows while you're riding one, and you end up shooting somewhere here and you end up hitting your horse instead. Well, that has since been fixed with safe mounts. That means that I can shoot my horse, and I might hit myself because it's going to bounce off the horse entity, but at the very least, the horse is not going to be injured. So therefore, I know that the horse is going to be a bit safer if I'm going to be launching arrows at any foes I have nearby. This next bit gives you the ability to shave snow layers. What that means is by having a shovel, you can simply just shovel off the snow layers. taking them down a little bit at a time. Now, in this case, you're not actually getting anything from it, but it does give you the option to at least do so, especially if you have a full-size snow block, you can still shave it down. And then we have sheep with armor. That's right. Well, they are totally covered with a lot of wool, which actually gives them a half a unit of armor now. So therefore you can, or rather they can, live a little bit longer. And here is sign editing. This gives you the ability to edit signs as you would like. I can click over here and start editing. I can actually scroll everything around. Watch sign editing here. It goes down to the next level, down to the next one, and so on. It also allows you to clear it if you want, and it'll clear out the entire sign. And as it says here, you can edit the config for an empty hand too, meaning that you can make it so it'll only be editable if you have an empty hand, as opposed to if you have like a tool in your hand and you accidentally click on it. Next up, we have slabs to bricks, and these are just some examples. Let me grab these here. If I take them, I can put a couple of them over top of each other, and therefore allow it to turn into the appropriate block, therefore reforming it as you would normally. Pretty cool. And then we have sponges that are wet, can, or rather will, dry when left sitting out in the nether, therefore turning into a regular sponge. So yeah, wet sponge, dry sponge, left in the nether. Good. And here we have squids. Yes, there are lots of them. There's not a lot for water around here, but if you hit one of them, you therefore get a blindness effect for a few seconds. This is a little something that's added in. Of course, it works while you're underwater as well. Each one of them might activate this upon hitting any of them and causing an injury, but it only lasts for a couple seconds. Now this next one is just a little tiny tweak, as they mostly are, and that is just minecarts that have any kind of stuff in them, or even regular minecarts, can now stack up to 16. And then last but not least, villagers, as you can see here, are just wandering around aimlessly. Hey, come on over here. Let me get a lead, right? I can use this on you. No, I can't. These guys are not coming with me no matter what I do. Well, that has changed. You now just need an emerald block. Let me put it over here so I don't accidentally pick it up. Now watch these guys, and can I have your attention, please? There you go. This is a little bit more information and so on, but bit by bit on Quark and tweaks for you and yours. And I think that's where I'm going to end things here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, be sure to spread the mischief to others if you enjoy this kind of content too, or if you think that they might. And if you want to support the mischief, please feel free to check out the links in the description below. Until next time, folks, I'll see ya.